He's burned.
Yeah, what's this one?
This is controlled burn. She's a firefighter. She saved him from a burning building where his sister died, inches from him. He's never known a good day. My daughter says I was very mean to him. So he's just now starting to venture out. He's very badly burned. He goes out, if he goes out in public, he's always covered. He doesn't let anybody see him. And he's gone to the fire station. She's invited him for a 4th of July party. Delancey oozed kindness. She got under his skin and soothed him while she kept him wound up. She cooked for him, which she'd had to admit to when he'd been released from the hospital. Oddly, the cooking was almost a bigger deal than the arousal. Darkness was in full force when he limped slowly to the front of the station house. The first few fireworks shot into the sky. Cheers from what sounded like a large crowd erupted behind the house. Logan's pulse pounded. Sweat pulled at the base of his back. He hadn't planned on showing up at the party. He hadn't even fully convinced himself when he'd left the house that he would go all the way. The party meant seeing Delancey, but it also meant seeing whoever she had invited from the community had shown up. Seeing them meant they saw him. His stomach knotted. Logan pulled the edge of the hoodie farther forward to better hide his face and moved into the shadows on the side of the building. The crowd was indeed not small. There had to be 200 people gathered in the backyard. He froze, unable to step into the fray, into the path of stares and gasps and judgments. A long line of folding tables held mounds of food. No less than 10 large coolers formed a line at the far end of the tables. People young and old, dressed in varying styles of red and white and blue, were spread out on picnic blankets or hovered around the tables. Men, women, and children of all ages filled plates from platters of food, grabbed drinks, or ate straight from their platters. Smiles and laughs, adults and kids, rowdy and tired alike, covered the picnic blanket-filled space. Logan couldn't make himself take another step. He wasn't ready. Not even Delancey was temptation enough for him to venture into the fray. Then, as if thinking about her had some kind of summoning power, Delancey stepped away from the group of men near one of the tables. She headed toward him. She was smiling and laughing, looking 100% like she belonged, while she passed people of varying ages who waved or called out to her. Her circle of friends reached beyond Lexi and her co-workers. Judging by the smiles on the faces looking back at her, she was loved and respected. She was surrounded by the kind of friends and happiness Ashley had wanted them to find in the community where they'd bought their home. She was embraced by a large group of people coming together for a celebration of life. But he would never be so accepted. Discomfort spread across his skin, making it more impossible to step out of the shadows. More pops sounded with the release of fireworks. Another round of cheers and oohs and ahs followed. It was the kind of scene Ashley would have loved, one she would have dragged him to and made him enjoy. It would have been easy with Ashley because she'd have hung with him until he found a rhythm in the crowd. He wasn't a complete idiot when it came to meeting people, but walking into a crowd and acting like he belonged had never been a skill he managed to master. Doing it now that he was scarred and likely to be seen as a repulsive leper? No way. Logan gripped the edges of his hood, pulling it tight over the bill of his cap. He turned to leave and then stopped, dropped his head. He couldn't join the crowd, but he couldn't make himself walk away. Walking away from the crowd meant walking away from Delancey, and he didn't possess the strength to do that. His skin began to tingle, raising goose flesh on his unburned side. Delancey. He always sensed her moments before she arrived. "Logan," she said, coming close behind him. "You came." He didn't turn. Facing her might just change his mind and have him joining the crowd. "I'm leaving. The show's just beginning, and we have a ton of food. Quite possibly literally." Beginning or ending, it didn't matter. He pointed toward the front of the building and quickly fisted his hand when it shook. This was a mistake. Delancey moved into his path. She was more effective at stopping him than her size would suggest. He couldn't pretend it surprised him. "Are you hungry? Starved? And the food smelled delicious." "No." He stepped left. "I have to go." She stepped right to block him. "I cooked." "What have you eaten today?" Her hand brushed his wrist. Faster than if he'd slammed into an invisible wall, he jerked away. The warmth of her touch survived the separation as vivid as a living, breathing entity. Then she spoke, and damn if his heart didn't tremble. "You've seen so much darkness. You deserve some light." She reached into a bag he hadn't noticed hanging from her shoulder and withdrew a silver stick, even if it's only a sparkler's worth.